English Easy Podcast.
Hello, learners. Welcome back to English Easy Podcast, your partner to learning English. So we've all been there, right? Like 500 vocabulary words. You can read an entire English newspaper article without even reaching for a dictionary.
Oh, absolutely. You listen to deep dives like this one and you comprehend every single nuance.
Right. But then, the second a barista looks you in the eye and asks you a super simple question, your mind just, it entirely empties.
It's completely blank.
Yeah, your vocal cords lock up. You're left staring blankly, feeling like you've just forgotten how to speak entirely.
It is a universal frustration. I hear this all the time. And, it happens because we fundamentally misunderstand what is actually occurring in that moment.
Wait, so it's not just that I'm bad at English?
No, not at all. The conversational freeze, it isn't a lack of knowledge. It's actually a biological reaction.
Biological, like my body is physically stopping me.
Exactly. When the spotlight suddenly shifts to you, your brain often perceives that social pressure as a literal threat. It triggers a mild fight-or-flight response. Yeah, so your amygdala flares up, and your prefrontal cortex, which is the area where you store all those complex, beautiful grammar rules you studied, it just temporarily goes offline.
So basically, all those flashcards and those late-night study sessions are locked behind a door. My brain just slammed shut out of panic.
That is the perfect way to visualize it, yes.
I'm trying to mentally calculate the third conditional tense while my nervous system thinks I'm being chased by a predator.
Right. And you cannot logic your way out of a biological freeze. I mean, the only way through it is reflex.
Okay, so we need reflexes, not rules.
Precisely. Instead of relying on vast, complex mental textbooks, we need to build deeply ingrained conversational reflexes. And today, our mission is to develop that muscle using 3 of the smallest yet most structurally vital words in the English language.
We are talking about do, does, and did.
Yes. We are going to completely shift how you view these auxiliary verbs.
Because, this isn't about memorizing rule number 3 in a workbook. This is about discovering the natural feeling and the rhythm these words create.
Because native speakers aren't doing grammatical math in their heads before they order a coffee, or answer a phone call at work.
No, they definitely aren't. Our ground rule for today is that communication is way more important than perfection.
Always. They rely on established patterns that feel almost like a physical beat in the conversation.
Okay, so to stop freezing, we have to start by mastering the present moment.
Right, the here and now. We need to look at why English relies so heavily on these specific helper verbs. Centuries ago, English had a much more complex system of verb endings.
Kind of like modern Spanish or German.
Right, exactly. But over time, the language shed those complicated endings and replaced them with a highly efficient modular system. Do and does essentially carry the structural weight of the sentence.
So the main verb doesn't have to work as hard.
Exactly. They are the helpers.
That makes so much sense. It reminds me of a concept I've always called the helpful thief.
Oh, I like that, the helpful thief.
Yeah. So when we talk about our daily routines or general truths, the present tense do handles things for you and I. Like, do you live here? Very straightforward.
Very simple, yeah.
But then we have does for a single person. He, she, or it. Normally, if we make a statement about one person, we add an S. He walks, she talks.
Right, the famous third person's S.
Exactly. But in a question, does swoops in and basically steals that S from the main verb.
The thief metaphor perfectly illustrates the underlying mechanics there. By absorbing that S, does handles all the grammatical heavy lifting.
So the main verb, whether it's work or like or understand, gets to remain in its purest, simplest base form.
Exactly. But, and I see this all the time, intermediate learners still trip up on this.
Oh, I'll admit, even knowing this rule inside and out, I've caught myself making the classic error in the heat of the moment.
The double S?
Yes. I'll be talking fast and suddenly say, does he like his new job? My brain just panics and slaps the S onto the helper verb and the main verb.
That is hypercorrection. And it is incredibly common. Your brain is just so anxious to prove that it knows the third-person rule that it applies it twice.
Like, look at me, I know the grammar. Let me use it everywhere.
Exactly. But natural English thrives on efficiency. The vein is already baked into does, so does he like his job? That is literally all the sentence needs.
Let's pull this out of the theoretical and put it into a real-world scenario. Let's do a shopping scenario.
Perfect.
Imagine you're visiting a new city. You're navigating an unfamiliar currency, the grocery store is super crowded, the line behind you is long, and the cashier rapidly asks, "Do you need a bag?"
The learner's instinct here is to construct a flawless, comprehensive sentence to prove their competence.
Like, yes, I need a bag for my groceries, please.
Right, but constructing that takes time, the pressure mounts, and that's when the freeze sets in.
Because you're translating every single word.
Exactly. The secret hidden inside the cashier's quadrant is that they gave you the exact architectural blueprint for your answer. You only need to mirror the helper verb they used.
Yes, I do.
That's it. Yes, I do.
It's so clean, it feels polite, and it completely bypasses the need to build a sentence from scratch.
If a barista at a cafe asks, "Do you like tea?" you don't say, "Yes, I like."
Right, which sounds a bit awkward anyway.
It does. You say, "Yes, I do." It gives the interaction a natural, confident bounce. Mirroring the helper verb smooths out the entire exchange.
It really does.
If you listen closely to fluent speakers, you'll notice they rarely answer with the main verb. They answer with the auxiliary. It creates a rhythm that signals to the other person, "Hey, I am following your tempo."
Okay, let's actually test this rhythm right now. I want to add a little audience interaction here.
Let's do it.
If you are listening to this deep dive on your commute or maybe doing the dishes, I want you to pause your internal monologue for a second. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer out loud using that 2-beat rhythm.
Say it right out loud.
Ready? Do you watch YouTube every day?
Give him a second to answer.
Did you say it? The natural answer is yes, I do, or no, I don't.
Notice how solid and definitive that sounds. True fluency is rarely found in long, wandering paragraphs. It's usually found in confident brevity.
Confident brevity, I love that. And, do has a secondary function that is rarely taught but used constantly in casual situations.
Oh, the emotional amplifier?
Yes, it's an emotional amplifier. If someone asks why you're studying so hard, saying, I want to improve my English, communicates a fact.
It's informative, sure.
But saying, I do want to improve my English, changes the entire temperature of the room.
It really does. Placing do directly in front of the main verb in a positive sentence adds immense passion. It conveys this unwavering belief.
It tells your listener, I am absolutely serious about this.
Right. It's a brilliant way to add emotional texture to your speaking without needing a massive vocabulary.
Okay, so the helpful thief works beautifully from our present reality.
Yeah.
But what happens when we travel back in time?
The past tense.
Yeah, the moment my boss asks me about yesterday's project, the thief vanishes. Suddenly, I am mentally juggling irregular past tense verbs like think, thought, buy, bought, catch, caught, and the freeze comes rushing right back.
The past tense is notoriously intimidating because it feels like a landscape of exceptions.
It really does.
But that is exactly where did becomes your greatest ally. Did neutralizes the chaos of your regular verbs. Its entire function is to signal that an action is firmly finished.
So it's a time traveler.
Basically, yeah. And just like does handle the do handles all the chronological weight.
Okay, so if I want to ask my friend about their weekend, I don't need to frantically search my memory for the past tense of go. I just use did, and the main verb gets to relax in the present form.
Exactly. Did you go to the party?
Not did you went.
Right. Applying the past tense twice, did you went, is another classic hypercorrection, just like does he likes.
That's the brain overcompensating again.
Yes. The speaker is so desperate to communicate that the event is over that they double up on the grammar. But did already tells the listener we are in the past. Did you finish is perfectly efficient.
Beyond the mechanics, I feel like there is a profound psychological weight to the word did.
What do you mean?
Well, we often look at it as just a mechanical time marker, but it's actually the vocabulary of progress.
Oh, that's interesting.
Think about the emotional difference between two statements. If I sit here and say, I don't understand English, how does that feel?
It feels permanent. It defines your current reality as lacking. It sounds like a heavy door has just slammed shut on your potential.
Exactly. It's sad.
Yeah.
But if I shift one single word and say, I didn't understand English before, the entire landscape changes. The door swings open.
Wow, yes. The second sentence is incredibly brave.
Right.
By placing the struggle firmly in the past with didn't, you are heavily implying that right now, in the present, you do understand. It is a declaration of growth.
Utilizing did effectively allows you to narrate your own progress. It acknowledges the friction of learning, but leaves it in the rearview mirror.
It's empowering. And, you can use it to empower others, too.
Oh, like how?
Say you have a shy friend who has been terrified of speaking, and they suddenly deliver a flawless presentation at work. You don't just say, good job.
That's a bit boring.
Right. You look at them and say, you did that. It expresses shock, joy, and massive encouragement.
You did that. I love the energy of that.
It proves that grammar is never just an academic exercise. It is deeply tied to human connection and emotion.
It really is. But here is where I have to push back a little, though.
Okay, lay it on me.
Learning these tools in a vacuum is one thing. But out in the wild, conversations are completely unpredictable. A manager isn't going to politely test me on just the present tense and then, wait for me to switch gears to the past.
Real life doesn't come with chapter headings.
Exactly. Time mixes together rapidly. 1 second we are talking about daily habits. The next second we are talking about last quarter's margins. And that mixing is what causes cognitive overload.
Because the brain is trying to decode the other person's vocabulary, formulate a response, and track shifting timelines all at the same exact time.
It's exhausting.
It is a tremendous amount of computational stress. To survive that without freezing, you need a mental workaround. You have to start treating time words like traffic signs.
Traffic signs. How does the traffic sign concept work in practice?
Well, before you speak, your brain needs a microsecond filter. Ask yourself, is this topic about my life in general, or is it an action that is completely finished?
Okay. General versus finish.
Right. If the topic is general, like a habit or a universal truth, your reflex reaches for do or does. If the action is finished, your reflex reaches for did.
And the traffic signs.
The traffic signs that guide this reflex are the context words surrounding the verb. Words like usually, now, or yesterday.
That sounds logical in theory. But how am I supposed to mentally slow down enough during a high-speed conversation to read those traffic signs?
It's tricky at first.
If an interviewer's staring at me waiting for an answer, I don't have 3 seconds to analyze whether usually dictates a general or finished response.
You don't analyze it. You listen for the momentum of their question. It's like returning a tennis serve.
Okay, a tennis serve.
You don't need to invent a brand new swing every time the ball comes at you. You use the speed and direction of the ball to power your return. You listen to the first auxiliary verb out of their mouth, and you hit it right back.
Let's run a high-stakes simulation to demonstrate this.
And game.
I love this. Let's do a preliminary job interview over the phone. This is the ultimate stress test.
Phone calls are terrifying for learners.
The worst. You cannot rely on body language. The audio might be slightly muffled, and the stakes for your career are high. I will play the hiring manager, firing off questions, and you be the applicant. And let's use some formal, maybe even some difficult financial vocabulary to really simulate the pressure.
I am ready. Let's do it.
Ring, ring. Hello. Thanks for taking my call today. Let's jump right in. Do you currently manage the department budget?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Now, looking back at your last role, did you reconcile the quarterly revenue?
Yes, I did.
Great. I see here on your resume that you led a team. Does your previous supervisor know you are applying for this role?
No, she doesn't.
Okay. And did she offer to write you a letter of recommendation for future roles?
Yes, she did.
And seen. That was incredibly fast, and yet entirely seamless.
Thank you.
You didn't give me any long, rambling explanations. You just hit the tennis ball back over the net. But let's pause for our learners, because I use some pretty tough financial vocabulary there.
You did. Reconcile the quarterly revenue. That is a mouthful.
Right. For anyone listening, revenue just means the money a company brings in, and quarterly means every 3 months. But here is the magic. Did you even need to know what revenue meant to answer my question perfectly?
Not at all. The question was, did you reconcile the quarterly revenue? The word did is the traffic sign. It tells me the action is finished, and it gives me the exact tool to reply, yes, I did.
It's like a cheat code for difficult vocabulary.
Exactly. Notice how using those crisp, mirrored answers projects deep competence. In that scenario, many learners panic because they feel the silence is their enemy.
Oh, they start over-explaining.
Or they start frantically nodding to a phone receiver which doesn't work and rapid-firing yes, yes, yes to every single prompt just to keep the conversation moving.
I've done that.
They will say yes to negative questions or say yes when they actually mean no, purely to survive the interaction.
You just want the spotlight off of them as fast as possible.
Exactly.
But by deploying a confident yes, I did or no, I don't, you take control of the pacing. You demonstrate to the interviewer that you fully understood both the vocabulary and the time frame of their complex questions.
What if we replay a piece of that simulation, but I make a mistake? Let's look at how to recover without freezing.
Okay, let's rewind. Did you reconcile the quarterly revenue last winter?
Yes, I do. Wait, I apologize. Yes, I did.
Honestly. As the hiring manager in that scenario, I'm actually more impressed by the recovery than I would be by a perfect first attempt.
Really?
Yes, you caught your own chronological error and corrected it smoothly without a full meltdown.
The recovery proves a high level of language awareness, and it highlights the most critical barrier every intermediate learner faces: the fear of sounding foolish.
Oh, the fear.
Fear blocks fluency far more aggressively than poor grammar ever could.
Let's dig into that, because I think the fear is the root of the entire conversational freeze. We are terrified of making mistakes, of being judged as unintelligent just because we use the wrong auxiliary verb.
Linguists often refer to this as the affective filter.
Affective filter.
Yes. When your anxiety is high, your brain essentially throws up a wall that prevents language from flowing out, regardless of how much you have studied.
So the stress literally blocks the words.
Exactly. We have to rationalize this fear. Think about it. When you speak your native language, you do not silently review grammatical rules before opening your mouth.
No, of course not. You just talk.
You just connect with the person in front of you.
And the person listening to you is almost never a strict academic grading your syntax in their head. They're a human being who wants to know what you think, what you need, or what you experienced.
If you bravely use do when you should have used did, the listener will still almost certainly understand your intention based on context.
Like if I say, do you go to the store yesterday? It's wrong, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. And if they understand your intention, the communication was a success. Mistakes are not the enemy of language acquisition.
Silence is the enemy.
Yes. When you choose to say nothing because you demand perfection from yourself, the bridge of connection collapses entirely.
Wow. Knowing that the goal is connection, not perfection. How do we actually train this reflex? I mean, I can read English books and listen to audio all day, but that is passive.
Right, passive input.
It doesn't help my speaking muscle. We need a way to practice the general versus finished mental trick every single day, even without a conversation partner. I need practical tips to stay consistent.
Consistency builds the reflex. And the most practical way to achieve daily consistency is targeted self-talk.
Self-talk, like talking to myself.
Yes, you become your own conversation partner. Throughout your day, begin asking yourself simple questions in English and forcing yourself to answer with the proper rhythmic beat.
Give me a specific example of what that looks like in my daily routine.
You can do this silently while brewing your morning coffee or walking to the train. Ask yourself about your immediate reality.
Like testing myself on what I'm doing.
Exactly. Do I understand the concepts discussed in this deep dive? Yes, I do. Did I recognize every single vocabulary word the hosts used? No, I didn't. Does that mean my English is failing? No, it doesn't.
Oh, that is a brilliant way to create a completely safe environment to fail. You can fumble the tense, correct yourself, and try again without any external social pressure triggering the amygdala.
It normalizes the physical feeling of English in your mind. The transition from thinking in your native language to actively producing English starts to feel less like leaping off a cliff and much more like taking a gentle, familiar step forward.
Let's put this into action right now with a rapid-fire Q&A.
I love this.
I want you, the listener, to answer instantly in your mind or out loud if you can. Do not overthink the grammar. Just look for the traffic sign. Listen for the momentum of my question and hit the ball back over the net.
Go for it.
Did you smile at anyone today?
Answer out loud.
Do you want to reach a higher level of fluency?
Say it.
Did you learn a new perspective in the last 20 minutes?
See how natural the rhythm begins to feel? You do not need to speak at lightning speed to prove your fluency. Slow, deliberate, and honest responses are the hallmark of an advanced speaker.
Progress demands immense patience with yourself. If you are listening right now and feeling even a fraction lighter, a little less terrified of making a mistake in your next interaction, then this session accomplished its goal.
The concept of perfect English is an illusion. It is a myth that keeps learners trapped in silence.
It really is a trap.
True. Fluent English only emerges after you have bravely spoken imperfectly hundreds, if not thousands of times. The tools we explored today, do, does, and did they are your foundational rhythmic blocks. They are the reflexes that will carry you through the panic.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day. The next time you find yourself in a high-stakes conversation, maybe you're ordering at a crowded cafe or navigating a complex question on a difficult work call, and you feel that familiar, terrifying urge to freeze and say nothing, will you choose the safety of perfect silence or the bravery of imperfect connection?